We've been making masks for Sean and her team today using this really great tutorial from Instructables. I'll put the link in the comments. It's really helpful. We've simplified some things, but I'm really grateful to the person who designed that tutorial for putting it online in the first place. For me, a video is a more natural way to figure this out, so I figured I would just make a quick video about this. This is the finished mask. You can see it's got the right shape. It's got a liner, it's got elastic to hold it on, and there's a wire in here to hold it to your nose. So the way that this comes together, there are two pattern pieces, A and B, pretty simple. A is the exterior and B is the liner. But you're going to basically do the same thing to both of them, which is that you're going to start off by sewing this seam, the larger curve, and then pink the edge just to get rid of some of the bulk. From here, I personally hate irons, but it's worth it for this. Just press down seam allowance the whole way around, 1/4 inch, and stitch it. And then you have your outside piece of the mask ready to go. Same thing for the liner. Sew the curve, pink it, press the seam allowance, sew the seam allowance, etc. From here, you're going to put the wrong sides together and find the center point of the top and for the liner and the outside, and pin those together. Generally, I do it so that the top of the white hits the stitching on the exterior. So you're going to pin all of that so that that's ready to go. Stitch it. Actually, no, don't stitch it yet. Pin the bottom. Same thing. Start at the middle, work your way out. Stitch the top and the bottom, but not the sides. It's really important. And here's why. To get the wire in, you need to be able to access the sides. The first thing you're going to do is just sew a channel. So I've just followed the curve of the top, leaving, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, enough to fit the wire. We've been using 20 gauge wire today. We've also tested with up to 14 gauge wire. 14 gauge works. I've read that paper clips work. We haven't tested that yet, but basically whatever wire you can get your hands on probably works. The trick that we found, though, is that aluminum turns our fingers black. We're assuming that it would do similar things to the fabric, which is not great. What we are using instead is, all together now, steel, and steel seems to be just fine. We also have some of the the coated wire that we're going to try. We're not sure how this is going to play out with the heavy-duty cleaning, but we really hope that it's going to work and that it will be something that's fairly durable. So once you have your wire in, which you can do because the side is open, you can just slide it in there. You're going to want to close the channel. I went over this a couple of times with my completely inexpert sewing just to make sure that that the wire is really securely in there. And then the last thing that you have to do is attach the elastic. We've had a hell of a time finding elastic. Somewhere has a hoard of toilet paper and elastic cord. And so we've got a couple of other strategies that we're using, but today Mom found these at the dollar store. They are 12 for $1. They are elastic headbands, and even though they look pretty small, they do get the job done. So this is what we're working with now. If you can't find these, you could use some sort of tie. We do have some strap material that we bought that's made of cotton, and for that we would just put a tie on each corner, and the doctors could tie it behind their heads. So once you have inserted the wire, you're going to have something that looks a bit like this on the end, where there's more exterior fabric than there is lining. And what you're going to do is you're going to take elastic, stick it in there, fold it over, and sew it. You're going to do this on this side and again on the other side, and that's how you end up with the elastic that's completely enclosed and ready to go. Like I said, this looks really small. We've tried it. It fits on our giant heads, so it should work. But also, do some with ties just to make sure that everybody who needs one has one that fits. So this is the final mask. You've got your nose wire, your elastic, your nice lining so you can tell which side is clean and which side is dirty, and it should be ready to go. So we are going to make as many of these as we possibly can, and we really appreciate your help doing so. Thank you so much.